I'm Dr. Shauna Spicker, Chief Communications Officer at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. When I first came to Charlotte earlier this year, I was blown away with the vibrancy of the city and its tight-knit community. Over the last 25 years, I've had the honor of serving as a teacher, principal, and superintendent. And here at CMS, I immediately recognized that this district shows up for its students and its staff every day. Across the 186 schools in our district, there's a steadfast and supportive bond among teachers and staff. It makes all the difference in the world when students have an educator who cares. And here at CMS, if you deal with students, we consider you an educator. From the transportation services, to nutrition, to our offices and our classrooms, and it's evident that CMS cares. It's no wonder Charlotte is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. Amid all this growth, there's an opportunity. Opportunity to welcome more teachers to our district, and opportunity to attract and retain the best educators for our students. And that's what we're here to talk about today. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg area is home to over 20,000 teachers, support staff, and administrators, and they need a place to live, work, and thrive. To continue leading the excellence our district offers, we want to offer our educators a chance to put down roots here at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. What we are unveiling today is an innovative, multi-phase way and effort to welcome and keep the best and brightest educators here in Charlotte. This is At Home in CMS. Today you'll hear from district leaders, staff, and one of our very own educators on why this groundbreaking initiative matters. At Home in CMS will propel Charlotte and its students toward a brighter future, a future my colleagues and I are thrilled to help shape. With that, I will hand it over to our board chair, Stephanie Sneed.
Thank you, Dr. Spicker, and welcome everyone. Thank you for being here on a great day, a monumental day. I also like to thank my fellow board members, the City Council, Mayor Val and the Board of County Commissioners for offering their time and expertise with this endeavor. And a special thank you to Representative, now Attorney General-elect, Jeff Jackson and Representative Alma Adams for their leadership and commitment to helping making At Home in CMS a reality. If any of our partners are here with us today, please stand so we can take a moment to recognize you. I see partners. Thank you. Thank you for your support and commitment to this endeavor. Today I have the privilege of announcing CMS's bold initiative to attract and retain talented educators to our community, At Home in CMS. At Home in CMS is an exciting enterprise and our district is proud to support. Our educators are the backbone of our school district, and because they're integral to student success, we want to do everything we can to recruit and retain the very best for our students. And yes, that means everything. That includes coming up with innovative solutions to support them. And what you're going to hear about today is a housing solution. As many of you have experienced, I can tell countless stories of how teachers were integral in the development of who I am today. They instilled in me the value of the education. I'm going to call some of their names today. Ms. Watkins, Ms. General, Ms. Driver, all of them from elementary through high school instilled in me that no matter the circumstances, that the value of education could take me as far as I wanted to go. And we want to make sure that our students have that experience as well as CMS. And we're going to do that by supporting and recruiting the best talent for our students. While we're advocating around the clock at the local and state level to have lawmakers fairly compensate our teachers, we also are going to focus on what we can do right now at home in our district. Housing is one of those areas that we can tackle. At Home in CMS is a direct response to the needs expressed by our educators. When the district surveyed our teachers, 93% said they are most concerned about housing costs. And another 61% said housing may impact whether or not they continue to work with the CMS. That's why we're using every available resource to ensure our teachers have a place to call home in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. This is just one of those bold visions that we have for a stronger education system. Our broader agenda reflects the most urgent needs our teachers have: competitive salaries, robust support from the board and administration to help teachers do their job, and yes, rental and home ownership opportunities to keep more money in their pockets. At Home and CMS is the first step toward a better school district for us all. Because we attract and retain high-quality, dedicated educators who live where they work, we have a more vibrant community, a brighter future, and more economic mobility. We are all part of Charlotte-Mecklenburg, and we are all proud to call Charlotte-Mecklenburg home. Please join me in welcoming Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Superintendent, Dr. Crystal Hill.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chair Sneed. This first-of-a-kind initiative will give educators the opportunity to put down roots in Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. We ask educators to call Charlotte home, and in turn, we now commit to helping find a home of their own. This will be a multi-year commitment, and it will serve educators in every phase of their lives, whether they're looking to rent an apartment, move into a townhome, or put down a down payment towards a single-family home. At Home in CMS allows teachers to find that option that works for them. In just a few minutes, Nancy Bridewell, Chief of Recruitment, Retention, and Talent Development, will share the details of this initiative. But first, I would like to explain why this initiative is so important, and why my team and members of the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council have dedicated time and energy to bring this to life. One of the most meaningful things we can do for students is to put them in a classroom with a teacher who cares for them, challenges them, and sets them up for success. Data supports this fact. A 2019 RAND Corporation study found that teacher quality was the most important school-related factor influencing student achievement. And a quality teaching improves not only students' immediate achievement, but also their future academic success, their career opportunities, and their socioeconomic status. But many of us already know this reality firsthand because we can recall the teacher, that one or many incredible educators who changed our lives, who challenged us to see what we were capable of, who gave us confidence to become the person we are today. For me, I have many, just as Chair Sneed, but I can think of Mr. Cabarrus. Mr. Cabarrus was my high school Algebra 1 teacher, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. First of all, he taught me that I can do math, and math is not difficult, and math is related to real life, and I am forever grateful to Mr. Cabarrus. What do I want for the children of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools and for my own children? I want them to have their very own Mr. Cabarrus, and not just one, but many of them. And with At Home and CMS, we take one bold step into making that happen. Finally, a word to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg partners who make this initiative possible. Investing in our community's children isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. A high-quality education begins with teachers who educate and inspire. By investing in housing for our teachers, we are also investing in the future success of our students, our community, and our workforce. Several businesses, individuals, and organizations in the Charlotte community have already offered their support of At Home and CMS. We urge others to also step forward so that together we can continue to attract and retain and motivate professional educators. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools will continue to give our children the education they need and the future they deserve, and that starts with our community coming together to work by all means possible and give talented educators a home in CMS. With that, I'd like to pass the baton to someone very special. And At Home in CMS is for the educators in our community, which is why I am thrilled to introduce Janetta Nashville, a teacher at Northridge Middle School. Please join me in welcoming Janetta to hear about her experience.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Hill. As someone who was born and raised in Charlotte, I can tell you this is an exciting day for our community, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I was raised just off of Newcastle Street near Beatty's-Ford Road. I attended Druid Hills Elementary School, but in 1996, my parents purchased their first home on the east side of Charlotte to provide a better life for me and my siblings. My father worked for the city of Charlotte in sanitation for over 25 years, and my mother has been a licensed cosmetologist for 30+ years. I remember as a young girl being a student at Northridge Middle School. It was there I realized that one day I wanted to be a teacher. As a young girl, I faced many challenges, but I always knew that someday I wanted to give back to my community. Today, I am a full-time exceptional children's teacher. I started as a long-term substitute at Cochran Middle School in 2004 after graduating from Vance High School. Later becoming a teacher's assistant, and in 2023, I became a teacher through the CMS teacher residency. I've earned my master's degree, and I'm now working on completing my doctorate. I am entering my 21st year in education and my first year at Northridge Middle School, coming back full circle to where it all began. This work is incredibly rewarding, and I love building relationships with my students and being able to come to see them bloom in the classroom, watching how they grow over the course of the year. We have a strong educated community here, but that community has faced some real challenges in securing financial stability and stable housing. As a Charlotte native, it is simply amazing to see how our community has grown into a big, vibrant city. But the housing prices have always been challenging, making it tough for teachers like me to secure adequate housing. Down payments and mortgages are impossible, rents are steep, student loan debt weighs on us. Some of my colleagues have even faced eviction, including myself. I've seen friends and colleagues move out of the district to find affordable places to live, and this turnover isn't just a staff problem, it's a loss for the whole community. Students and families develop bonds with their teachers. Being forced to say goodbye year after year takes a toll. As a mom of 3, my husband and I have sacrificed to provide for our children so we can live in decent neighborhoods. My wish is to purchase a home somewhere with space my kids can play and grow, but homeownership has felt impossible. Until I heard of At Home in CMS. I received an email regarding the housing fair and registered immediately. I told every colleague about it, and I encouraged everyone to register and attend. My husband and I have always wanted to own a home in Charlotte. So the morning of the fair, I was very optimistic. I didn't want to miss out on this special opportunity. That's where I found out that At Home in CMS offers rental discounts, referral programs, down payment assistance, and more. I heard about payment assistance programs that I wasn't even aware of, like House Charlotte. I saw options, I saw opportunity, I saw the chance to build my family's future home in the community where I was born and where I am proud to work teaching the next generation. For teachers like me, At Home in CMS offers enough resources and flexibility to figure out which housing solutions make sense for us. It lightens the financial load too. With more manageable housing costs, I can save for summer trips, medications for my son who has moderate asthma, and for the sports supplies my kids need for the next season. Across the board, teachers can spend less on rent and save for their future home. I'm glad the district is stepping up. They're working to make it easier for me to make a home and build a life in the community where I belong. That means a lot. The seed that inspired me to teach was planted at CMS when I was just a young girl. Over the last few years, I've returned to my roots, growing into a teacher that students respect and learn from, a teacher parents recognize in and out of the classroom. Now I'm excited to see more teachers truly feel at home in CMS. Thank you, and now I would like to welcome Ms. Nancy Brightwell.
Thank you, Ms. Nashville, for sharing your incredible story. You're an inspiration to so many educators who are so pleased to have you here to represent their voices and their needs as well. Good afternoon. As Dr. Hill explained, At Home in CMS will include several phases. As we begin, the first phase is priority access to high-quality apartments for teachers in high-need Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Our district has confirmed partnerships with 3 local developers, Ascent, Laurel Street, and Dream Key, each of whom have committed to partner with us to track available inventory across their collective 42 properties in Mecklenburg County. We've created a website to improve awareness and access for our educators, and we're working on new tools to help teachers compare the locations of these properties with the schools that they're working in. Units will be available to both new and current teachers with priority for educators in our 34 priority schools. Inventory changes and will be updated throughout the year. We encourage interested teachers to find out more on our website. We're also exploring additional rental options for teachers. Our district is actively encouraging rental communities in Charlotte to waive deposits, offer discounts, and take other steps to help our teachers find a home. As we plan to explore prioritize access or discounts in new developments or places in the county where we don't yet have affordable rent for our educators. The second phase of our focus is on home ownership. Our district recognizes that home ownership is part of many people's long-term vision for their lives. We want to keep that vision within reach for our teachers. That includes raising awareness about existing opportunities, such as House Charlotte, that offers down payment assistance for as much as $50,000. It also involves developing trusted partnerships with builders and developers in our area, such as True Homes, Dream Key, Freedom Communities, and Prosperity Alliance, which have agreed to provide townhomes at cost for teachers serving in high-need schools in Mecklenburg County. And we are so grateful to our partners at Truist Bank for allowing us to provide an additional $30,000 each to further reduce the cost of a targeted number of homes dedicated for CMS teachers. This is a model we're actively seeking to replicate and scale with other willing partners and donors. And our commitment includes boosting financial literacy through a number of new types of support for our employees, including housing fairs and webinars. And we're working toward an on-demand, personalized support with broader housing navigation for our community of educators. We're so incredibly grateful for the partnership of so many financial institutions, nonprofits, and of course, our close partners at the county and the city of Charlotte. For most of us, housing expenses are one of the largest monthly expenses we incur. We want to ensure that our teachers have security and stability so they can focus on serving our students and inspiring the next generation. The final phase of this development is a first-of-its-kind Charlotte-Mecklenburg Educator Community. We're exploring possible routes and models for the design and financing of this complex. Our intention is to create a purpose-built facility with a large number of units as well as common spaces to serve and support the needs of our teachers. As we've conceived it, this complex will be built on land supplied by the district, as the land itself constitutes one of the major costs of a large-scale project of this kind. Our housing initiative builds on the comprehensive recruitment and retention strategies we put in place to respond to the needs our educators have expressed. We've heard you and we're acting on what you shared because we care about and we value the commitment that you make to our schools every single day and to our community. When educators commit to teaching in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, we honor their commitment and their choice to guide through guiding, mentoring, and supporting them throughout their professional journey. Our new onboarding process, for example, now extends 3 weeks during the summer. As a result, our teachers new to CMS are more prepared, informed, and integrated into Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools before they meet their students in their classroom for the first time. Once our teachers are in schools, they have extensive professional resources at their disposal. This includes mentorship and coaching programs, high-quality curriculum support, and professional development opportunities. And the work to support our teachers doesn't end there. We want to support the whole educator. That means advocating at the local, state, and national level to improve North Carolina pay scale for our teachers and educators. That means helping educators find a healthy work-life balance with dedicated support for their wellness in and outside of the school day. And it means finding even more ways to recognize and celebrate our teachers for the incredible contributions and accomplishments they make in our district each and every day. We're committed to doing all of that and more. We know that talented, high-quality teachers have choices. By implementing At Home and CMS, we offer yet another way for educators to find both a professional and personal home in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, and yet another reason to say yes to CMS. That concludes our remarks, and we are open to questions at this time.
I'm going to invite Susan Vernon-Devlin, our Executive Director of Media Relations and Crisis Communication, to help with questioning.
Thank you. He's going to help you on that side. Hi, Julia Kaufman with WCNC Charlotte. This partnership you mentioned with some of these developers like Dream Key, a lot of them already have long wait lists for people trying to get into housing. So how does this new partnership line up with that? Will teachers get priority over that wait list, or what does that look like?
Yes, indeed. In some of the developments and the partnerships that we've established, that is exactly the intent, is ensuring that for a portion of these new either rentals or homes, there's dedicated and prioritized access to support our teachers and CMS getting access to homes.
Where are you modeling this program on successful programs elsewhere, or is this something innovative as far as you know, for a school system to launch not just the voucher type program with existing properties, but also establishing your own property on CMS property?
Sure. No, we've done extensive research and continue to do that research, looking at local models for what's possible in the state of North Carolina, and then we've also taken trips and had conversations with others across the nation to look at models to determine where we will begin with this educator complex.
Just to follow up, can you mention a couple of the places that have been successful that you visited that you might be able to take something from?
Sure. We took a trip last January to the Santa Clara area, which is leading the area with several teacher housing complexes. So that's in the Palo Alto area. We've also had conversations with Buncombe County, Bertie, Rutherfordton, and several other places within North Carolina. Talked with some folks in Tennessee as well.
Alexandra Baxios. There was some reporting over the summer by other TV outlets saying that the idea of a teacher village was offensive. I think there was one quote that was said, a slap in the face. So my question would be, what would your response be to those teachers? And then also, what would your message be to state lawmakers who have kind of pushed you into this corner where you're getting into home construction?
So as an educator, I would say that I did express back to the board and with representation with At Home of how we all sort of felt about a housing complex. Not that all are against it, but at the same time, a lot of us are looking for housing to where we are able to secure deeds because we have children and we would like to have a house just as the children that we educate daily. So it's not that a lot of us are against it. I just think that for a single teacher or a teacher who's a widow or just someone that probably does not have children, a complex of that caliber would be mindful. But I believe that a lot of our words are sometimes misconstrued with how we genuinely feel. Anything that we receive as help, I don't believe that any of us would turn it down when it comes down to having somewhere to stay versus not having anywhere to stay and being able to purchase food, for example. Anything at this point is going to be helpful. So I don't think anyone within a nice mindset would be against it.
And I'll just add on to that answer as well. I think sometimes when people respond, it's because they don't have full understanding of the broader strategy. So I think perhaps that response was an absence of the full context. I think I would challenge anyone now to, have any type of ill intent about or ill feelings about what we're trying to do for our educators now that they see the broader picture. I think, to your point, to the second part of your question, I think people were maybe responding to it as an or, and to your point, it's not an or conversation, and that's what we led with. This is just an additional strategy of what we can do right here. We continue to advocate all the time for increased pay at the state level, which of course that's the base teacher salary in North Carolina, and then always with the teacher supplement. And we are very proud that here in Mecklenburg County, our Board of County Commissioners have been very supportive in ensuring that we have the top teacher supplement. Locally, that's the only thing that we can impact is the local supplement because base salary is set at the state level.
So just not to pile on, I think there's education should have the complete picture. And I want it to be understood when we talk about places to live, we're talking about a place that I would want to live, like that I would want my children to live in. So it is not, we're not talking about substandard housing, we're talking about market level housing that is desirable. So that is key for everyone to understand that. And in terms of the state, the board we have on our legislative agenda, it is not an or, we have on our legislative agenda every cycle to advocate for higher teacher pay. That is every single time. And we've also run campaigns. Recently, in the past few months, before the budget went, the General Assembly went into recess, we had to stop the pay gap campaign because essentially teachers are losing money as the cost of inflation goes up. So we're working feverishly as a board to continue our efforts in making sure that we are the best advocates locally here for our teachers at the state.
Hi, just a question about the future teacher village. Obviously the need's gonna be really great, and I'm sure if you could build 1,000 units, you would, but the press release said it would be about 100. So how will the district be in charge of selecting who gets to live there? I imagine there will be some sort of wait list.
We do anticipate that there will be a tremendous amount of interest and excitement about the teacher village. It's important to understand that the intention of this first complex is designed to be a pilot and one that could be replicated. And we're hoping that with great cooperation and support from our city and county partners and the wonderful partnerships that we've developed with the financial institutions, that we'll be able to replicate throughout the district to provide even more units. But we will be working with the developers. We, as CMS, won't be making those decisions in terms of who gets in and who gets put on a wait list, but there will be an appropriate process for that.
Can I just add some clarification real quick? We want to be very clear with our language. This is not a teacher village. That's already trademarked and means something else. So this is not a teacher village. That was our initial kind of language because it kind of makes sense. It's not a teacher village. Maybe it'll be a name to be unveiled.
Yeah, hi. You mentioned sort of the first phase is going to have to do with, I think you mentioned across 42 properties and 3 developers. Do you have an estimate of how many units that's looking at right now, or is there a limit to that?
Sure, that's currently in play, and at any given moment, inventory changes and flexes, of course, but at any given moment across those 3 developers' properties, there are somewhere over 2,000 units available and able to be prioritized for our educators.
Happy Thankful Thursday, and thank you ladies for the hard efforts that you have put in place to help keep Charlotte education alive, and I thank you. The question that I have when you are talking about people who are renters and they're educators and they want to become homeowners, but they're not the average credit, they don't have the average credit, they may have some bumps and some bruises, and they may have debt to income ratio. Do we have a third door that we're going to process those teachers through to be able to help them not only achieve home ownership, but to help them with it, because that has been another factor. We have programs, but then they said, no, you don't qualify because debt to ratio is a huge issue. So do you guys have a strategy for that?
Yes, thank you so much for raising that. That's actually something that many of our educators are concerned about, and so thank you for raising that. And that is a part of the support that we're working on now. We're hitting that topic just to build some awareness and knowledge for how you can work on credit so that you can qualify for home ownership down the road, the specific tangible things that you can do. And we're covering that in some of our webinars that we're doing right now. And we're also developing some optional, available to all employees, some optional financial literacy courses and sessions that will provide further support to help folks bridge from rental to home ownership.
Do you see this, I guess it's a combination, you're trying to retain teachers, you're also trying to attract teachers. Do you feel like you're in competition right now with smaller districts in places that are less expensive to live in than Charlotte?
Without a doubt, we're yes, and every district's doing everything they can. In Charlotte-Mecklenburg, we're very fortunate to have partners that are allowing us to be able to take really bold, transformational, and unique approaches such as at home and CMS, things that none of our neighboring districts are presently doing. But everyone's competing for high-quality, talented teachers.
Do we have any other questions? Julie.
Me again, sorry. So, is it still the future teacher community? Is it expected to still cost about $1 million? I think we previously reported, and also in the press release it said break ground in 2025, but also open in 2025. So, is that the correct timeline?
Well, our estimated cost was around $30 million for the complex, and our aspirational goal is to have a firm plan in 2025, and our initial timeline had a target of being able to be in a position to lease in 2027. We're continuing to balance the strong collaboration with development of a sound proposal to stay as close to that timeline as possible.
I just wanted to follow up on something else you mentioned. You talked about this being a pilot project, the village, whatever, and that you want to scale it up. Are you talking about taking perhaps underutilized or existing CMS property and turning it into housing? Or are you talking about going out in the market and purchasing additional property? I mean, you're big landowners right now. Is that how you foresee as campuses get larger and relocate to different areas, you see the older campuses becoming housing areas now?
That's not something that we've talked about presently. Presently, we're looking at parcels of land that perhaps are not suitable for a school, but could be leveraged for a project such as this.
So you're not necessarily talking about reusing old campuses, you're talking about using land that you can't use now for campuses.
That's correct. In several of the models where we have seen that, the cost of demolishing and basically gutting an existing school that has become obsolete is pretty expensive. And so there are cheaper ways for us to be able to scale more quickly. So we're favoring concepts such as that.
I will add, though, that there are no options that are off the table. We are exploring all options. The option based in North Carolina that's currently available would be using existing property that's, quote, surplus, that's not available to use for school use, and there's a process that you would have to go through. However, it's a multi-layered process, which is why we're not ready to land on one specific solution, but just in the process of exploring lots of different possibilities.
All right, can we thank our panelists?